Hi, I am Sophia, and this is the story of how one ridiculous lie about a fake boyfriend turned into police sirens, $1 million scam, and the boy I swore I could not stand becoming the love of my life. But before we begin, smash that like button and subscribe. Because trust me, this one gets very messy. So picture this. 7 in the morning. I have not finished my first cup of tea, and my parents are already performing season 487 of the Marriage is Falling Apart show. Dad was holding a tiny glass jar between 2 fingers like it might explode. "You spent $1,000 on neck cream," he said. Mum snatched it back. "You do not understand skincare. This village is aging me. I am becoming completely unlovable." "I still love you," said Dad. "What good is love when my neck looks like a crumpled napkin," she said. I set down my tea. "Mother," I said, "if you invested half as much energy into being a decent human being as you do into anti-aging products, people might actually enjoy your company." She burst into tears and ran out. Honesty is a gift. Not everyone unwraps it gracefully. Growing up in my house meant learning survival early. By 13, I was baking croissants good enough to start neighborhood arguments. By 18, I worked at a small cafe and believed drama was something that happened to other people. My dad owned a vineyard. Every year, he promised the new batch would change everything. Every year, it tasted like furniture stripper. But he never gave up. That was Dad. Stubborn, hopeful, and completely impossible to discourage. Mom was a former beauty queen who never forgave time for moving forward without her permission. She spent money we did not have, complained constantly, and one day simply packed 3 suitcases and left. Divorce papers arrived 2 weeks later. Dad cried for a month. I made tea and kept the bills paid and told myself that some people are just not built for staying. Then one evening, Dad came home with a smile I had not seen in years. He had found an investor, Mr. Caldwell. Wealthy, serious, owned half the city. He had invited us both to dinner at his mansion. I was genuinely happy for Dad. I put on a nice dress and went in with the very best of intentions. And then I walked into that room, and my entire nervous system took the evening off. Because that was when I saw Ethan. He walked in like he had never once experienced self-doubt. Tall, dark, messy hair, an irritatingly relaxed smile, and feeding grapes to the most beautiful girl I had ever seen in my life. I was staring. I am not proud of this. I was absolutely staring. A grape fell. He bent down. I stepped backward and knocked over an enormous decorative bowl of fruit punch. It went everywhere. Down my dress, across the carpet, onto the shoes of a horrified elderly man nearby. I cleaned up, had a firm conversation with my reflection about dignity, and walked back out into the hallway, where I walked directly into Ethan's chest. "Are you always this graceful?" he said. "Or do I specifically have this effect on people?" "I am the picture of grace," I said. "The carpet was a safety hazard. My date says you were staring." I was admiring the architectural detail of the room. He laughed. It was a good laugh. I added it to the list of things I was choosing not to think about. Then someone tapped my shoulder, and I turned around and felt every organ in my body rearrange in shock. Mum was standing there with the perfect hair, pearl earrings, looking like a woman who had never abandoned anyone in her life. She had met Mr. Caldwell on a cruise 6 months ago. They were dating. She had pointed him toward Dad's vineyard to help out. "Am I not the most thoughtful ex-wife you have ever seen?" she said. I grabbed Dad's arm and left before I said something permanent. That night, Dad sat in the kitchen with stars in his eyes, talking about second chances. I told him she had not come back. She was dating someone else and had mentioned his vineyard. Those were two completely different things. He did not listen. He never listened when hope was involved. Mom started wanting to spend time together after that, which meant I kept seeing. At Ethan, at dinners, at parties, and worst of all, at my cafe, always with a different girl. I'd always catching my eye across the room with that insufferable smile. One afternoon, I reached my limit. "Can you not find another cafe for this?" I said. "I am supporting your bakery," he said. "You are annoying me. You are jealous." I laughed loudly enough that 2 customers looked over. "I would rather spend the rest of my life talking to my sourdough starter than be one of your Tuesday afternoon dates." He leaned on the counter. "Bring your boyfriend tomorrow, then." Double at a date, movies, and dinner. My smile did not move, but something inside me dropped 3 floors. Because 72 hours earlier, I had told him with complete confidence that I had been in a serious relationship for 2 years. I had no boyfriend, I had a cat, and a sourdough starter, and a very comfortable routine. I had 24 hours. I found the newest cafe intern restocking the sugar jars. His name was Bobby. He had a friendly face and no plans for the following evening. And within 5 minutes, he had agreed to help. This was going to work. Perfectly. It did not work perfectly. Outside the cinema, I stepped forward with the energy of a woman who definitely remembered her boyfriend's name. "This is my boyfriend," I said warmly. "Billy!" "It is Bobby," said the intern. "Tomato, tomato," I said and steered us inside. Ethan and his date were the most disruptive people in the building within 4 minutes. Whispering, giggling, then kissing loudly. I picked up his soda and poured it slowly over his head. He knocked my entire bucket of popcorn onto the floor. Security removed us in 90 seconds. Bobby left after I called him the wrong name one final time. Ethan stood beside me on the pavement, hair still damp, jacket stained, and then he started laughing. And against everything I believed about myself, so did I. The next morning, he pulled up beside me in his car. "Get in," he said. "I need to talk to you about your mom." Money was disappearing from his uncle company. Consistent amounts. He had been tracking it for weeks. He suspected Mom. I told him he was wrong and got out of the car 2 streets early and walked the rest of the way in the cold. But something settled into the back of my mind and would not leave. That night, I heard a car in the driveway just after midnight. I went out the back door and crept along the side of the house. Our Mom and Dad were in the garden speaking quietly. "I have been transferring money out of Richard's accounts for months," Mom said. "He has no idea. We take the investment payment when the contract signs, add it to what I have already moved, and we disappear. Just the 2 of us?" Dad nodded. Then they kissed. I stayed behind that bush until the cold settled into my hands, and I had fully understood what I had just heard. I went to Ethan the next morning and told him everything. Together we searched Mum's room. At the back of a drawer, I found fake passports with her photo and different names, account records, a printed flight itinerary, 1 ticket, her name only. She was not taking Dad. He was just another target. I was still kneeling. When the door opened, Mum stood in the frame. "Sophia, what are you doing in my room?" I stood up with everything behind my back. "Oh, Mom," I said, "I came to find you and got completely distracted by this carpet. The texture is extraordinary. Your taste is so refined, and I am so grateful you passed it on to me." I kissed her hands, hugged her, and walked out. Ethan was in the corridor having heard every word. "The carpet," he said. "Fastest thing I could think of," I said. Before I handed over the evidence I made, Ethan promised me one thing. Dad would not face charges. He was a good man who had made a terrible choice out of loneliness, and he was all I had left. Ethan was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "I promise you." I believed him. And then I cried, just quietly sitting in a car with fake passports on my lap, at crying for the mother I had always hoped existed somewhere underneath the one who actually did. Ethan did not joke, did not tease. He just stayed. And that quiet felt like the safest thing I had been near in a long time. The next morning, he called to say he had everything and was meeting his uncle at a charity golf event that afternoon. I tried to reach Dad all morning. No answer. Then I found the event invitation on the kitchen table with Dad's handwriting on it. He was already there. I got to the venue and immediately understood it was enormous. And I had no idea where anyone was. That was when I spotted an unattended golf cart on the path and an elderly woman in a sun hat climbing slowly into the seat. "I am so sorry," I said. "This is a genuine emergency." I slid in and pressed the accelerator and was gone. I will not claim my navigation of that golf course was elegant. The path was narrower than expected. There were considerably more feet in the way than seemed reasonable. A man in yellow trousers chased me for almost a full minute. But I got there. Dad was with Mom and Mr. Caldwell near the 18th hole. Mr. Caldwell was holding a pen. I reaching for the papers Dad was presenting. I came out of that golf cart at speed. "Stop!" I shouted. Everyone stopped. "I apologize for the interruption," I said. "But the woman beside you has been stealing from your company for 6 months. Those papers are the final step. She has one plane ticket leaving tomorrow. Just her. My dad does not know. He thinks she loves him. She does not love either of you. She loves the money, and she has been planning to disappear with it since the day she arrived." Mom laughed. "Darling, you are being dramatic." She kept laughing until Ethan walked through the crowd behind me with bank records, fake identities, account transfers, and the flight booking, all laid out calmly in front of his uncle. Mr. Caldwell read through it in silence. Mum's smile disappeared page by page. When Ethan finished, the silence lasted a long time. Then Mum looked around at all of us and dropped the performance entirely. "Your father needed money," she said. "I needed an exit. I used him. I used both of you. I would have been gone tomorrow, and none of you would have heard from me again." She looked at me. "I would have managed perfectly if you had stayed out of it, Sophia." "Because he is my dad," I said. "And you were going to destroy him." She was arrested 20 minutes later. I watched the police car leave, and I did not cry. Because relief sometimes looks like silence. "Mr. Caldwell agreed not to press charges against Dad. Ethan made sure of it personally. Dad and I walked to the car together without speaking. He held my hand the whole way, and I held his back, and that was enough. We were almost there when Ethan called my name. "That was not easy," he said. "No," I said. "It was not." He looked at me. "I like you, Sophia. I have since the first night you knocked over that bowl and told me you were the picture of grace. I have been trying to find a way to say it that did not sound like a joke. And I cannot find one, so I'm just saying it plainly. All those girls," I said, "every single one, a blind date my mother organized. I went to keep the peace. I came home thinking about you every time." "You're going to have to work for this," I said. "I know," he said. "I want to." He smiled. "Not the smug one, a real one." That was 2 years ago. Dad's vineyard finally has a wine people actually want. It sold out in 3 weeks, and he is already talking about expanding, not anxiously the way he used to, but like a man who believes it is actually going to happen. My
Fresh from
bakery
the oven.
opened
Who
6
is first?
months ago.
I'll have one, please.
The weekend
Here
order
you are.
list
Thank
is
you
3
so
weeks
much.
long.
One for me too.
And I had to hire 2 people last month. And Ethan reorganizes my kitchen when he thinks I am not watching. Brings the wrong coffee order on purpose just to see my reaction, and quotes things I said months ago back at me at the worst possible moments. He also proposed last month on the rooftop of the cafe where all of this started. I said yes before he finished asking. So here's what I know now that I did not know then. One stupid lie about a fake boyfriend will not ruin your life. It might redirect it towards something you did not know you needed. Sometimes the person who annoys you most is doing it because they cannot figure out how else to stay near you. And sometimes love looks like sitting quietly with someone while they cry, and not trying to fix anything, just staying, just being there. Thanks for watching. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. And if you have ever embarrassed yourself in front of your crush, leave it in the comments.
This is exactly what I needed.